Oh Jesus, I can't even remember what it's called. Right, hello everyone, I am Hibblejaybob, and I thought as a 500 subscriber special, even though I'm slightly past that now as you can see, I would give you a little tour of where I work. Lighting's going to be a little bit funny because the weather is not great outside because, yay, Scotland. But yeah, so this is the place where I do all of my gaming and recording. We've got the big ass screen here, which as impressive as it is in size, actually I have to run on a low resolution, which is why you see most of my videos, my gaming videos are only 720p. That's about the highest this thing plays at, because if I put it any higher it just breaks. Now I've got the side monitor, which I use for having other information, and sometimes if I'm not playing a game that requires too much concentration, I have other videos and stuff on it just now. Let's have a, I've got my tablet here. I keep that at the side of me when I'm not requiring its portableness. Sometimes if my computer's in use rendering videos, I use this for editing descriptions and stuff on videos on YouTube. And then below we have the beast itself. It's a little bit dark because it's behind my bloody bed, but can put on the light. I won't show you here because it's, well, it's a mishmash of cables. My cable management is, I need to put some more work into that. But yeah, so this is the computer. My computer is, well, it's been upgraded many times since the start of when I bought it. It now has a Gigabyte like 980 motherboard or something. It's got an AMD FX-9590 processor, which is I'll get that off. It's 4.5 gigahertz. I don't have it overclocked, but I can overclock it up to 5.1 gigahertz, I think. My graphics card is an ATI Radeon HD 7970 with 3 gigabytes of... Whoops. I just cut off the video. Whoops. So yeah, graphics card has got 3 gigabytes of VRAM. My computer, and people always ask me about this, my computer has 20 gigabytes of RAM, but then it's all set up for computer simulations, which is what I did when I was at university. I think that's it. Storage, in total there is 6.4 terabytes of storage. I've got 2 hard drives inside, and then that little white box that you can barely make out there is my my other external storage thing. So at the moment I've got this set up, so I'll just wheel myself back and you can see the mess, kind of the mess that is my room. So this is it in kind of general use storage. You've got the big screen up for doing work, side screen up for watching videos, and this for editing YouTube stuff when I need to. And this is how I have it normally. But and I have a little chance to show off all my little gadgets. So 1 second. So, if you'll forgive my lack of dusting, which I've just noticed is pretty bad, here we are in gaming setup. So we've got my controller, which I've got no idea how to use, so I actually use that very little now. My mouse, everything here is from Logitech, well, apart from this. Everything I'm about to show you is from Logitech. So I've got the Logitech G something, they don't sell this anymore, mouse. Got the G510 keyboard, which is a standard keyboard along with like a shit ton of memory functions over here, which are pretty useful for stuff like simulators, or if you've got any like really intense MMOs, you can bind keys to that, which is pretty good. And similarly, I use this a lot for FPSs, or even sometimes games like Fallout 4 or Skyrim. I have this little mouse pad, which is nice, ergonomic, and it's nice to use if you don't need to use all that many keys, because there's not all that many, but they're all programmable, and yeah, that's pretty cool. So one little gadget that I don't get to use enough is my little graphics input tablet. So I've got this little thing which I can basically write on, and it, yeah. Oh, right, it's on screen. It's a good thing to use for like, you know, doing drawing and things, because it's a lot easier to actually, like, you know, draw rather than kind of try and use a mouse. So yeah, it's pretty cool that, but I don't get to use it as much as I planned, because my graphical design stuff's kind of gone on the back burner for now. But it's a cool little thing to have. It's pretty cheap as well. I think this one's like £12 or something. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So, back to talking about video games. This is my combat flight sim / space sim setup. So we have easy access to the keyboard through the middle. You've got the G13 kind of mini keyboard that's down here. This and this are both the same thing, they're connected, is the Saitek X52 Pro bollocks, whatever the rest of the thing's called, which is a kind of throttle with many buttons and joystick with many buttons and colors and changing lights and things. Yeah, pretty cool. I use this for combat flight sim, so you'll see this in my L2 videos and things. Sometimes if I'm in a lazy mood, I will do it for actual flight simulators, so FSX, but I usually use my other setup, which I will show you later. Alright, so we're back with a different gaming setup. So what we've got here is my racing setup. So we have the Logitech G27, which is a really expensive but also really fucking awesome steering wheel. The Thrustmaster something gear changer. It's a H pattern shifter. You can also get little plates to change out so that you can do manual sequential, so it's literally just, whereas this locks, you just push it forward and then it'll go back like that. But I have the 7-speed H pattern, it's called, even though it's not quite an H anymore. Yes, this is my gear shifter. Then at the bottom I have the Clubsport Pedals. I've only got version 1. There are newer versions available. But these are kind of heavy duty, like solid steel things, so they're pretty heavy, pretty hard to move, and yeah, I found them pretty good. The brake, it does have force feedback in the brake, so you can get stuff like ABS braking vibrations and so on, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's my racing setup. Right, so this is the final system setup. This is my flight sim setup. So we've got the full ProFlight Yoke system, easy access to my G13, and I can also lean back and get to the keyboard if I need to. I do use the throttle of my X52. The reason for that is, I don't know how clear this will be on camera. If I gently, oh, it's just sliding away, that's maybe too gentle. There's a friction brake, so I can't push this anymore because you see it's now turning. That's a friction brake. There's a friction brake at 75% and then a friction brake at 25%, and that prevents you cutting to idle and doing like over acceleration, which is good. Whereas the other one I have is this, and I won't have it set up properly, so it might fall off. But put it on my lap. You'll see with this, there's no friction locks at all. It's hard to see because of the light. There's no friction locks at all, and because it goes from 0 down to minus 100%, so you can actually put it in full reverse without having a friction lock to stop you. So it's really easy to do, and I found I didn't enjoy flying it with it like that, so I actually don't use that. I use the throttle part of my X52. Finally, on the ground, and you get to see how badly my carpet needs hoovered, there is the Saitek Cessna pedals, which I use as my rudder. Yeah, put the light on because you won't be able to see them with it being dark. And yeah, that's my gadget for my flight sim set.
Whoa, that's trippy as balls. Okay, so one final thing for this video. I was asked on what settings I use for OBS, so I'm going to use OBS to record OBS. Meta. Let's go through them then. General, encoding. Okay, so these are my encoding settings. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly, so if you want to take a longer look, just pause the video and check them out. I only have one encoder installed. Don't use constant bitrate because I'm not streaming. Quality balance, I want it for maximum quality. Now, this doesn't really matter because I am recording only. This, however, the buffer size does matter. So if you keep this to 0, then it will use however much buffer is required to store the frame. Whereas if you set that to a number, then you will have a loss of quality if there's just too much information on the screen. No. Broadcast settings, I am file only because I don't do streaming because my internet is crap. Video, that's my screen resolution. I don't use any downscaling, and I do record at 50 frames per second, although sometimes the game performs less than that. Audio, I use the microphone that's attached to my keyboard, although there are about 3 microphones on this computer. I think they're all disabled at the moment, yeah. Hotkeys, well, that's not really settings, this is just personal preference. I'll get to advanced in a minute, I don't use this. The microphone noise gate is what stops you hearing all the ridiculous noises, and the feedback from, like, if sound comes through my speakers, you won't then hear it again through the microphone. So these are the settings I use for that. It seems to do an alright job, which is ideal. So now we go to advanced. Okay, I have a processor. I have 4 physical cores, 8 logical. I keep this above normal so that I always record the information that's on the screen. The problem with putting it down to like below normal or even normal is that if the screen has too much information in it, then you'll be able to play the game on full frames, but it won't be recorded in full frames. So by having it above normal, I keep it above normal, or high, you can have it so that it, if there is going to be a loss of frames, you experience it on the video as well, but overall there's just going to be higher performance. I did try it where I would play the game on high frames and then the video didn't record in it, and it just looked awful in video, like to the point that there's no point in doing it. So I keep it above normal or high. I do this, yeah. Now the CPU preset determines how much encoding is actually done. So basically the slower you go, the more CPU is required, but the less the file storage is. So by default you're on very fast, which actually has a really good kind of file size, whereas on ultra fast, yeah, I'm quite aware, which is what I use, the file size ends up being about a gigabyte a minute, so it's quite hefty. But yeah, it's not the worst thing, and because it just dumps it into a file rather than encoding it, there's almost no CPU hit. So games like GTA 4, where there's a lot of I used to have problems with CPU spiking in the past. Setting it from very fast to ultra fast basically got rid of those. Keyframe interval, it's usually recommended that you don't put it on auto. It's done at 2. Don't ask me why. Encoding profile, again, I use high rather than main. Now, oh god, I can't remember what CFR stands for. Because I used to just think, well, they're the same, CRF and CFR, but actually it is the other way around. Does it help if I go over a tooltip? Does it have tooltips for this? No, okay, it doesn't. I don't know what this is, but I've been told to use it. I have this option turned off because I don't need to go above 60 frames per second. This one, the constant rate factor, is basically, it's basically, no, where is it? It's basically this setting, but in a more advanced way. Where is it? Advanced. Yeah, so it's done in a more advanced way. So the lower this number, the better. If you go down to like 1, then that's practically lossless, but that's going to like have a massive file size and going to have a little big hit on your CPU. A lot of people use up to a CRF of 20. I have it on 15, so I'm slightly better than that. I think, if memory serves me correctly, if you don't have an advanced option set for the CRF and just use this, then the quality balance of 10 is a CRF of 21 or 22, I think. So yeah, you can use that for reference, and I don't have any of these things. Network doesn't apply to me because I don't stream, and I don't use this. So yeah, that's the settings I use for recording, and again we've got OBS recording on OBS, and that's trippy as hell.
Right, so we've got it all set up back to normal now, and that's it. That is my gaming system. It's probably... Nope, still can't show it all off there. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of my workspace and all the wacky gadgets that I definitely paid too much for. And if you're interested in the full computer specifications, you can find them in the description below. So thank you very much for joining me, and thank you all very much for getting me to 500 subscribers. So I hope you stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.